22F. 23M. I found something I wish I didn't. My boyfriend and I have been together a little over 6 years. We started dating in high school. We had our ups and downs, but we were okay for a while. Last month we had an argument that ended with me giving him time to think about our relationship and whether or not he wants to continue it. He ultimately decided he did want to be with me but confessed that he had been feeling confused for a while. I asked if he still felt that way and he said no. I was happy he was honest with me about his feelings, but I overthink way too much. So with this new information I felt insecure in my relationship and had this new fear that maybe he'll get confused about our relationship again. Unfortunately, this led to me feeling the need to constantly go through his phone. I went through his phone a few times. It's not something I'm proud of and I am sorry I did it. I never really found anything until the last time I checked. For whatever reason I felt inclined to check his messages with his close friend. That's where I found something that has honestly upset me so much that I feel sick when I think about it. It's all I think about now. So, for context, a few months ago we went to a concert together. I remember there was a girl there that spoke to us very briefly, but that was it. That next day he had messaged his friend saying he found the love of his life at the concert but couldn't get any of her information because of me. So, no, he didn't cheat. But all I can think of is the fact that he thought of another woman like that and whether he would have cheated on me that night if I wasn't there. Then there's the journal. I found his journal that same day and yes, I went through it. In there were about 4 entries about this same girl, all written within a few days after the concert. One saying how if he knew he would feel so regretful he would have risked it all. One saying he hopes to find her someday. One about a dream he had of her and one that mentioned me and he asks himself if he's taking me for granted. This is all from about 4 months ago. Everything makes sense now. Now I know he was confused about our relationship because a girl he said a few words to. I don't know how to feel. I don't even know what to do with this information. I'm not sure if I should just let it go or if I should tell him what I found. He could have ended our relationship last month when I gave him time to think about it, but he didn't. He told me he loved me, he said he wanted to be with me, but now I don't know. I feel so sad and angry with him now. Update. Well, not really an update, but just wanted to say that I appreciate everyone who has replied. I have to think things through and figure out what to do. It's just so hard. Again, thank you all.
You were given a gift before your heart gets pulled. Let him go. He said, he found the love of his life. When he proceeds to write and dream about her. You're currently in a holding pattern. You're a placeholder. I'm sorry.
When you meet the love of your life, you'll understand why this guy was never it.
I'm just saying, but why do you have to think things through? You've been together for 6 years and he thinks of a random girl he met at a concert, talked to for a few seconds as the love of his life. May.
That would be enough for me to make a decision. LL.
It's really sad to read. After 6 years together, your partner should be thinking you're the one want to spend the rest of their life with you. He does not love you. More young and maybe this is your first relationship, so I understand that it can be hard and scar to break up, but trust me, you'll feel much happier. You're a young woman. Once you start dating again, you'll see that you have plenty of option and will likely meet much better men than you current of. Won't waste your was with a guy that doesn't love you. Good luck.
Your lifetime partner will never have regrets like this. I can't say that they won't have moments of confusion, but to both put those thoughts out there for his friend to hear, and on his permanent record of journalist. That's a moment that he wanted to visit. I'd be very reluctant to think that he would never feel that way again, especially if he feels that FOMO pressure.
But, do you really want to spend the rest of your life with some sickle-minded idiot who falls in love with a random girl within a few hours of barely speaking to her? It would most definitely happen again with girls. You deserve so much better than this.
Once the trust has gone, there's no getting it back. Either of you has been completely honest with each other and neither of you is happy or committed to this relationship. Have it out with him. Admit calmly what you did, what you saw, and how you feel now. Listen to what he has to say, but I think you've reached a parting of the ways.
He's with you until he finds a woman he likes more than you. Sorry to be blunt, but that's what it is. If that girl would have given him her number, you would be gone right now.
Girl, stop giving this guy your time. He said that he would risk it all for someone he doesn't know over you. Don't get stuck on a sunk cost fallacy. Move it along.
Don't be his plan B. Don't spend your time with this guy when you know that he's still looking elsewhere. It will bite you later down the road. And I kind have to agree that the way you found out is happy, but I was in your shoes once years ago. I stooped. I found. I failed.
Honestly, I have been there and done dumb stuff like that when I was younger. Now, I would never dream of looking through someone's phone and would be so angry if someone did to me. You know what you did was wrong, so I won't blame you for that. But then point is, now you know the information and you can't unknown it. For me, it would be hard to get past, so for the sake of the relationship, I would end it.
You violated his privacy by going through his phone. Not just once but multiple times. When you went even further and read his diary? Damn. You tucked around and found out. You shouldn't be with each other. You need to work on your securities, and he needs to work on why he fell in love with some random he doesn't know at all.
That a toxic, terrible relationship you both are in. You don't respect each other. If there are such big issues you feel the need to violate his privacy this much, either leave him or get into therapy. Probably both.
What's there to think about? You two are not at all good for each other. He made you insecure enough in the relationship that you felt the need to go through his phone multiple times, and then go stooping through the rest of his stuff until you came across his journal. That's pretty steady behavior, except you were proved to be 100% correct. You'd be doing yourself a huge disservice by staying with this fool.
Yurov is way too mature and susceptible to infatuations to be in a real relationship with anybody for now.
He doesn't even know her. His sounds a lot like limerence. Now's his mental health?
You need to end this relationship. You are not his main priority. You are a placeholder.
If you find yourself needing to stoop, you need to end it. There's something there with your intuition that you're trying to prove. You proved it. But even if you hadn't, it still points to a lack of trust and breakdown in communication if you think you need to stoop. To do both of you a favor and end it.
Hopefully in the future you learn how to respect someone's privacy.
Yeah, you repeatedly violated his privacy. You showed you have no respect for him as a person and stooped around. That you, supposedly, found something to justify it, after repeated stooping, doesn't make it right. I doubt you're sorry as you said, just that you're trying to defect the negative stroma of your choice and actions that would be a deal breakers for me right there. All this with the concert girl just sounds like a localized version of a celebrity crush. Even if it's more, two wrongs don't make a right. It just proves you're both wrong. 2. You have injected venom into your relationship. You can ignore this and hope you don't get caught. Or you can confront him and admit you have no respect for his privacy or him as a person. The problem here is you more than him.
Why are you with someone you trust so little that you cannot give him any privacy? Other moments are rousing on his behavior, so I am going to ignore that for a moment. You go through his phone to check his messages to his friends. You read his private journal. Friend, you do not trust this man. Regardless of what he is doing in his private time, you do not trust him. You cannot have a relationship without trust.
That's the thing, to me he is the love of my life.
I guess BC I'm just confused by his actions. He wrote all these things 4 months ago then never wrote anything about it again. He could have ended the relationship when we gave ourselves some time to think about it last month, but he didn't. The way he treats me on a daily basis makes me feel like he does love me, but it's just this one thing he did that has me going crazy. He didn't really do anything, just had thoughts of her. If I found out he had actually done something, like actually created on me, I would have ended it immediately. But this situation has me confused. I know it might be time to end things, but it's so hard.
His mental health is okay as far as I can tell. Never really seen any signs of anything in the 6+ years we've been together.
I mean, sure. I know I'm also in the wrong, but come on now, shouldn't he be respecting our relationship?
I love how the person who violated someone's privacy is portraying themselves as the victim here. I guess consent only matters selective.
Supposedly? Volume okay, bud.
Because you're 22 years old.
I thought I was with the love of my life at 22. He was a but I loved him. When he created on me, which gave me the motivation to leave. Years later, after dating around a little, I met the real love of my life. I wouldn't have been able to recognize him as such if I hadn't been mistaken before.
He's not. He's just a 30 guy you got involved with.
See, if he were the love of your life, you wouldn't be on asking for advice on this because it wouldn't have happened if he respected his relationship with you. He says he hopes he finds this girl? And you still want to call him the love of your life? You still want to be with someone who second-guessed you after 6 years? How can you trust him knowing he called a random girl, who he barely spoke to, the love of his life over you, his girlfriend of 6 years?
Journals are a collection of thoughts at a certain time. Thoughts are influenced by so many stimuli, internal and external. Events that happened, are expected to happen, moods and feelings. Sons of things. They change and can change a lot. You're both young, your brains aren't fully developed, you'll both make choice you will regret later. To things you'll see as cringe. Maybe this relationship works out, maybe it doesn't. But invading someone's privacy and learning the thoughts that aren't meant for anyone else? That's looking for trouble.
ETA seemingly ate my earlier response. This post is going to be largely the same. You're invading someone's private thoughts. That's looking for trouble. Thoughts aren't constant. They change with mood, external stimuli, all sorts of things. That he's writing in private to an audience of him isn't by necessity how he would act. If he were posting, I'd tell him that he was infatuated with some idea of this other girl and not who that person is. And that it's tucked that he's observing over her while in a relationship. Us say things to their friend, maybe it's heartfelt and maybe it's an act. Funny. But he's not here and all of the context that he might bring to the situation is missing. You two took a break for reasons. Whether you both managed to get over them isn't possible to tell, but since you're going through his phone and invading his privacy, I'm guessing not. You can pretend this didn't happen, and maybe work out the other issues that pushed you to go stooping. You can confront him about it, which might work out, or blow up. Best of luck either way.
Don't listen to that lunatic.
Took it there took. It's a thick with a beard.
I think they're confused.
I completely disagree with this jackets. Leave your boyfriend. There's someone else out there who will idolize you as their own concert girl. Don't settle for being a consolation prize.
All out this. I know it's hard to believe, but the love of my life at 22 is now a memory of a guy the first now referred to as Satan. LL time gives you so much clarity. Don't be second best to anyone.
Thank you for putting it in a nicer way, LL. Like I said, I know what I did was wrong. I honestly regret it, wish I never even found what I found, but it's too late for that obviously.